There are a few verbs in Spanish that change meaning when you use it in the preterite and imperfect. It's very similar to when we did ser versus a star. Ser we use for different reasons, a star we use for other reasons, right? So with preterite and imperfect, you have just this small list. And so let's take a look at an example. Let's, for example, use querer. Okay, if I use querer and I said, yo quise la piña, right? So that means I tried the pineapple. If I wanted to say, no quería ir a la escuela los sábados, I didn't want to go to school on Saturdays, right? So I went to Polish school on Saturdays, and so I would say no quería, I didn't want to go. If I refused to go, let's say one Saturday because I was being a stinker, I can say no quise ir a la escuela. I refused. So it depends on what you're trying to say in terms of whether you use the verb in the preterite or imperfect. One more example. Yo tuve la medicina de Walgreens. I received the medicine from Walgreens. Yo tenía 6 años. I used to be 6 years old. Remember, it's not on a timeline. So that idea that you are 6 years old, it happened for a while, right? So there's nothing that happened during that 6-year time. I'm just telling you, I used to be 6 years old. So you can screenshot this, you can add this to your notes, that's fine. And hopefully during this entire screencast, you can always pause, write down some notes, and continue. So the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to watch that detective movie that we did before and talk about it in terms of real life. What would we use, preterite or imperfect? And hopefully this whole video and your notes and stuff will help you with the activities that will follow. So let's go into the video. All right, so let's take a look, right? So it was a dark night, it was nighttime, the detective was reading the newspaper, he was sad. What would all of those be? If you thought imperfect, hush, I'm doing a screencast, stop it. If you said imperfect, then you would be correct, right? So era la noche, eran las 9 de la noche, el detective estaba muy triste, estaba leyendo el periódico. So all of those would be imperfect because they're just setting the stage. It's just background information. So let's continue. All right. So did something happen to interrupt his action of reading the paper? Absolutely. He heard a noise. El detective escuchó un ruido. Don't mind my assistant. So what just happened there? Something red fell, right? Algo rojo se cayó del techo. So I'm using preterite. It's an action. It happened. It interrupted what he was doing. So think about it. All of these thoughts are in his head. What are thoughts? Yep, those are imperfect. So él pensaba que algo malo está ocurriendo con la abuela. All right, last one. So the old woman's in the kitchen, right? What was she doing? She was cooking. So la abuela estaba cocinando. She was cooking. Estaba cocinando cuando what happened? She saw the rat. Ella vio el ratón. So just a few examples of when preterite and imperfect is going to be used. Use your note sheet, have it next to you, screen or split screen it when you're doing the activities to follow for today's activities. And hopefully, if you have any questions, please again email me or write in the discussion. And hopefully, the activities today should be much easier after going all of this. Thank you so much for your attention.